Hello, welcome to another segment of YourTown television program. I'm King Grossman, your host, and the segment I do monthly here we call Artivism, which is looking for the cross-section of art and creativity and activism, actually on the ground, addressing social justice issues for positive change. And I'm really happy to have my good friend and golf partner and fellow artivist Chuck Banner with me again on the show.
Great to be here.
It's good to have you back, Chuck. And I'm really excited to talk with Chuck because he is just returned from Standing Rock with the Lakota Sioux in a film festival, and he is a documentarian and a television producer and a director and an artist. And so we've got a really great segment here for you. I was out at Standing Rock, as you know, and
You bet.
and I wanted to start with a poem that I wrote from my experience out there, and it was recently published in the Round Literary Journal, which is a journal published by Brown University.
Sweet. And Standing Rock does that. It makes you want to do whatever it is.
Yes,
It brings it out.
It does bring it out. So here it is. It's called When a Few Eagle Feathers No Longer Heed Looking Horse. Numinous tobacco left-handed, vicinity of your heart, let go into Cannonball River, and the cross is Lakota. Beside the bank, a sacred fire of 7, the perfect number, brought together like trembling hummingbirds, cantankerous and beautiful, dipping their beaks into forbidden and necessary stamens, purple drips from their feathers. While stars wink in the daylight beneath a black tarp with holes in it, same as the universe, riddled under extravagance. Cops beanbag bullets and tear gas answered by tires set aflame in the middle of State Highway 1806. Molotov cocktails tossed at some kind of kinky romance for nightsticks turned Gandhi into a lizard darting through dead grass across North Dakota's Great Plains. Standing Rock asphyxiates itself, breathes blackened smoke where red men lock down everyone here, pale-face allies' tongues paralyzed, in ashen continuing ethnocide, descended on the indigenous, prayers ignored beneath cacophonous adrenaline rushes, tribal elders are all sitting bull, temporarily forgotten at the precise moment vengeful pyres of survival overtake sunbeams slipping through the black tarp. So that's my poem.
Well,
And we talked about this a little bit, the need for nonviolence and the deep-rootedness of nonviolence at Standing Rock, and yet all of the state violence coming toward them and the tension and the ability to hold together, which they did so well, not perfectly, but so well. And so maybe your impressions.
well, one of the things I brought back from Standing Rock and realized a lot of people need to be reminded of is the violence existed, in wars, and the Lakota kicked some ass. I mean, we didn't sign treaties because we couldn't take over the land. We could do the land, and it was just kind of problematic paperwork. We signed treaties because we got thumped regularly,
Yes.
and we signed treaties when we needed to. So, and then we didn't honor the treaties; they honored them. So again, the violence here is violence that's brought to them.
Yes.
They stood in prayer. I went up there and thought, they're fighting this with prayer, and I went, okay, we're fighting with prayer, and that's all we can do. And then I realized about a week into it, looking at it, and listening to the audio of stuff of the streams, is that's really all they had to stand up was prayer.
Yes.
They went out every day to pray at these lines in front of barbed wire, and so the violence is not their choice, and now is not an option. I mean, we know this in this world. Violence will get us nowhere.
Right.
So now they are you know, you didn't slip in Gandhi in here, but you might have, because it's that same energy, and they know it. They know what Gandhi did. They know what all the great leaders have done. And Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse that you honor here, they didn't want it, but they took it to us. And people forget that. It's like they're standing on treaties that are still for real, and I think it's going to come out.
And so now that physical ground of Standing Rock has transformed into a communications movement, a movement building exercise, legal, but also film and documentary. And you were just there for their film festival. If you'd talk to us about that a little bit and the range of things you saw there.
Well, there's amazing stuff, amazing films, because it's amazing material. I mean, how can you, it's riveting. But what I see, I hear documentary now, and I think documentary, and I think pre-production and shooting and logging and editing and review. You know, I see 6 months of work doing a documentary. What's happening now and what Standing Rock showed us is that this is about live streaming. This is about getting the word out now and connecting with people. This isn't looking, but they did a film festival, and Phyllis, who you'll see some clips of with Lauren, she told me, you know, the members of the tribe don't understand on a certain level why they did a film festival. Well, Phyllis knows, who's a member of the tribe and kind of an intertribal liaison and one of the elders at the camp. She knows that was also Russell Means' work. Russell Means knew that the activism had to go through the media.
The AIM leader.
Yeah, and Russell was in Last of the Mohicans, and he, you know, and Floyd Westman. All these people who are activists knew that the only way to get this done now is for, you know, 30, 40 years ago, I filmed these same people. They had the same message. It was about water. It was about uranium and stuff. And they were like the canary. Well, 40 years later, finally we understand that it's a global movement for all of us. And we're just waking up to something they knew 30 years ago.
And these films are part of bringing that message forward. And I know we've got a wonderful clip, and we've talked about this clip.
You haven't seen it.
And I haven't seen it, but it's where you have a surprise, where things don't actually get produced the way you had envisioned, but that actually makes it better. And
are we getting close to that?
And we're at that point.
Well,
so,
I'll say on the film festival stuff, the whole idea is to take the film festival eventually on the road. Take it out, go to cities, go to places, tie in. But they're at their first film festival, and the clip we're going to show, it's a young Navajo man who had his, you know, the gold spill that happened up in the mountains 2 years ago and went down the Animas River and then went into San Juan, basically wiped out a good part of the Navajo reservation. His whole river turned gold. They couldn't plant for 2 years. So he ended up becoming, you know, he joined with some people about Standing Rock and then realized he wanted to run with the youth. And then when he reached the camp, he realized he was tying into some a little bit of pain in history that happened to his people, which is it's the same fight, but now they're choosing to do it. They're choosing to do it on their terms, and the media is involved. And what you'll see in this clip is, even though we were at the casino, we couldn't figure out and get the permission how to turn the lights up and down. So people are having stuff character generated on their face films, and the light you see is this blue of the projector in default, and then it goes black. And he keeps telling his story because he's communicating to the water protectors there about how to move forward. It's not about reaching an audience. It's about connecting with people so that they take action.
Well, it makes me think of the metaphor of bringing light out of the darkness, and it also, you know, the folk, the Lakota Sioux, when I was with them out there at Standing Rock for 3 weeks, they taught me so much. And one was to, if you stay grounded and connected with your environment and the land and the water and the things that sustain you and each other, you actually, you know your message. It's in you. And all you need is an opportunity to bring it forward.
And all he wants to do is plant. So you'll see there's a little song intro, and it's funny. It's blue, and you can see the shadows of cameras. It's really surreal. When we cut the whole thing together, there's like 8 people who went through this thing. It was about a 45-minute setup. Lights are on, off, screen. It's just, it's kind of hysterical, but it's historical. Let's not forget, these are people who put their lives on the line to protect all of our water.
Yes. Well, let's go to that clip if we can do that.
Cedric and see for that prayer song and prayer. I just want to sing a song, a real quick song for all the water protectors, for all the people that supported and all the people that prayed and even thought of us. And it's a song made by Purupe, and I just want to sing for the protectors. And this is for everybody that went to jail for red bond. Yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, way, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yo. Yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, way, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yo, way, yeah.
I don't know. It all like came together. It's hard to explain, but those last few steps on that road, and then we got down to Flag Road, and things just started making sense. And just out of nowhere, I guess lost it. I lost my composure, and I was just crying, like hysterically crying, like shaking, and just freaking out. But it was a good thing. And we came in on the day of the ceremony that, the Seven Fire ceremony that had happened. And one of the realizations that came upon me was 150 years ago, the Diné people were rounded up like cattle, pulled from their homes. Their crops and our crops and trees were burned so that they would be lured out and that we'd become dependent on the government. And then again, rounded up, 8,000 plus people were forced and marched from Dinapiquea to Huete, also Fort Sumner, 300, 400 miles. And were held in captivity there for 4 years. June 1st, 1868, yesterday, June 1st, 1868, the treaty was signed to release the Diné people back home. 149 years ago, yesterday. As I walked into Osheti Shakmun, I felt that pain. The feet, I only did a few miles, but I felt that pain. A little bit of it. But it was a good pain because 150 years later, I chose to make that journey from there to here. I chose it, me. I wasn't prodded, I wasn't pulled from my home. I wasn't said, if you don't do this, you're gonna die. If you don't do this, your family's gonna die. I chose to do it because of the sacrifices that my ancestors made for me 50 years ago. It's given me that strength. It's given me that empowerment to do that, to do so, to take care of my body, to take care of my culture. And now, coming to Standing Rock, to take it a step further and be that water protector, be that steward to the land. It's not something that we own. It's not something that's ours, but we are here to live amongst Mother Earth, to live with the land. And we're planting this summer. We're growing. Despite the spill that had happened a couple of years ago, we're going to be planting this summer. And I'm in charge of our field, our crop this summer, and I'm really excited. So one of the things that I'm excited and I really want to do is to be able to take some of that harvest and bring it back here in the fall. So that's part of me and part of the story that I have to share. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to come back.
It was produced by the Great Spirit, it looks like to me.
It was.
What was it
I
like?
knew when
What
I was
was it
filming,
like?
it was a moment.
Yeah, what was it like being there? Even now I can see
Well,
your
we're all
emotion.
worried about the tech and stuff, and then you stop, and people start talking, and they share their prayers. I mean, just like at Standing Rock, any moment you can stop and realize there's something else going on than what you think was going on, and it's deeper and it's more profound, and and they're not taking no for an answer. This is yes for clean water, and this whatever it takes. That guy's whole reservation, they weren't, or where he's from, along that river San Juan, it turned gold. It was polluted. He lost his, that's why he
Turned
went to
gold
Standing Rock
from petrochemicals.
from all the stuff that came out of that gold mine
Yes.
and the Navajo tribes and Suit and
Okay.
stuff. But his
The
family
gold mine.
couldn't plant for 2 years, and they still don't know what their water table is
Right.
like. So everybody's talking about, oh, Dapple's not going to spill. We're doing it to them. It's the same genocide that's been going on for 500 years.
and in
where
fact
it's
that-
under just the idea of an extraction economy that's just inevitable,
right.
and we all got to suck up to it.
Winona LaDuke recently said something along the lines of, she believes that the real core problem for us is that we've lost our association and we're disassociated with the things that sustain us, our land, our water,
Sure.
the very basics. Even she believes even more so than any systemic problem, because if you get that right, then you'll fix the systems. But if you don't have that right, you don't even know how to approach
Well,
the
it's
system.
the difference between a concept of an extraction economy and a concept of stewardship.
Yes, it is.
That's really what it is.
Yes,
when
it
you
is.
when you touch the earth, you realize it's kind of taking care of you. And anyway, it seems romantic, but it is. It's the difference between stewardship and capitalism.
Yes, and this word stewardship is a really good word to use, I believe, especially in the United States, which has so many folks that follow the Christian tradition. Because in the
bet.
in the Christian
The Pope's
tradition,
all over it now.
it's the word stewardship means something.
Laudato si.
And so how do we define stewardship? And this is what, of course, the Pope is leading in, saying it needs to be the good care of the things.
And I want to do a quick shout out
Yeah.
because you're going to have Kelsey on at the other
Yes.
segment. And I got to Standing Rock because of the Romero Institute, and they have the Lakota People's Law Project, and they're working with the Diocese of Monterey. They help stop fracking. They're doing the CCE. So it is about stewardship locally, and then we're helping Standing Rock out there. So shout out to Romero for
Yes, definitely.
That's all they're doing.
And Chuck, I want to thank you for being here. Our time is up, but I believe we've gotten the message out with some of your great artivism,
Well,
and then some help from the Great Spirit producing it better than even we could. Thank you all very much for being a part of this segment of Your Town and Artivism.